Hey, everybody. Hello to you and hello to your family. I hope you guys are still keeping well. As you know by now, my name is Pammy T, and it's always my pleasure to have you stop by. Now, everything that I'm going to say in this particular video is going to be in my own capacity, it's my own opinion, and not necessarily the view of all South Africans or the view of others. It is solely my opinion, right? So, unfortunately, today's topic might be a bit uncomfortable for others. It might not sit too well with other people, but that's what politics is about. You cannot always expect to hear topics that are going to put a smile on your face or topics that are going to make you laugh, humorous topics and all. At times, we have to discuss things and to put them as they are, or rather, as we see them, because as different people, we all have different views about different things, right? So that is what it's going to be about. Obviously, this might incite a type of debate. It might also cause a little bit of, people want to give their views, people want to give their opinions down in the comments, but let us keep it as respectful as we can, and let us keep it as clean, as clear as we possibly can. A couple of weeks ago, we saw that Ronaldo Hos from the Democratic Alliance was trending for being a racist. So this video came up. Apparently, it's a video that he made a couple of years ago, but it came up and, he had these racist remarks. He was just showing his ugly side, like a side that most South Africans don't want to see. And yes, that's what the video was about. And now the reaction from South Africans was like, oh my gosh, how come he's a racist? How could he say that? Like, it was just this big uproar about this Ronaldo host being racist. So now I want to ask South Africans, my fellow South Africans, were we really shocked, or were we just putting on an act? Like, I'm still trying to get to which side am I going to fall on, because I wouldn't really understand if we were all really genuinely shocked. And I'll tell you why.
All right, so there's a couple of things I want to say. Okay, kill the f***ing cat. Kill all the f***ing niggas. That's all I've got to say. Kill the cats. Kill all the f***ing niggas.
Now, I saw that video and I thought, wow. And this is an MP within the Democratic Alliance. So this is someone who has a voice within South African politics. Now, there's a lot that went through my mind when I listened to that particular video, when I bumped into that particular video. But now the problem is, if you follow Hos or you listen to the things that he says, he is a politician that is very fond of making comparisons between the white South African and the black South African. In fact, just check this out for a while.
All right, so if you've been following the World Cup, you've arguably seen these two lovely South Africans flying the South African flag high. But did you know that these two individuals are paid for by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture? Did you know that they are considered super fans, that the department allocates money to, which means it's your money as a taxpayer, and then they get flown there, their accommodation and their lodging and their food, and a little salary is given to them. They get tickets for free, specifically in areas where they know the cameras will focus on, and then they literally are prostitutes to promote South Africa. Did you know that? I mean, because I was today years old when I found this out. So if this is not news to you, I'm sorry. But these two individuals that you constantly see on your TV screen are actually there on your dime. No. This is unacceptable. These individuals featured on the TV last night for the semi-final. They proudly represented their country and they didn't cost the taxpayer a cent. This is not acceptable. World Rugby, please stop airing these individuals on your global stage because they're not super fans. Please, you're only allowed to showcase super fans, those ones that the taxpayers are paying for. Close to 400,000 Rand, my estimate so far for this World Cup per person. How dare you show these individuals that didn't cost the taxpayer a cent?
So our people lived through apartheid for 46 years. 46 years. People lived under the apartheid rule. Our people lived less than human beings. the type of education that they got, the type of places that they could actually stay in. A lot of limits were given to people of my skin color. Now, I don't want to get too personal when it comes to racial issues, but after 46 years, the African National Congress took over in 1994. It has now been 30 years. 30 years where I could say other races got their freedom, perhaps, although we still don't have the equality that we want as South Africans. But already I sense that there's discomfort. Already, after 30 years out of the 46 years that Black people stayed and lived in apartheid, already there are complaints that why are white people not treated the same as Blacks? There are so many. In fact, you know what? Listen to this video.
The problem I have is that it's been 29 years since the end of apartheid. We all agree that apartheid was an atrocious system, but in 2023, we still have policies that discriminate against people based on the color of their skin. How is that not similar to apartheid policies? Excuse you? You are trying to compare policies today against the apartheid system? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. We have over 116 racial laws in South Africa in 2023 that discriminate against people based on the color of their skin. How is that different to the racial laws during apartheid? Listen, frankly, I don't like your tone. I mean, if you don't know what the difference is here, then you are a racist bigot, and I don't have any time for you. Hey, whoa, calm down. I'm just asking a simple question. Is the racial policies today discriminatory, yes or no? Shut up, you racist bigot.
You know what? Let's move on from Hos and all the things that he's saying at the current moment. And let's hear what the leaders of the Democratic Alliance, Mr. John Steenhuisen, had to say after hearing and after listening to this video that that was circulating about Hos and him being a racist. Please note, that was not the only video that Hos had made where he is expressing himself as a racist white South African. Now, let's hear how Mr. John Steenhuisen responded when he heard that video. And please note that that video had to be investigated. Like, there were claims at the beginning that the video was probably fake. The video was, so they had to actually investigate to find out if the video was real or not. And on investigation, they found that the video was real. And I don't even understand why the video had to be investigated, because if you do look at Hos' history, you will find that he has so many videos where he's expressing himself exactly as what he is, which is a racist, full stop.
John, can I just ask about Ronaldo Hos, the criticism that he's been receiving around certain racist remarks? Have you had a conversation with him?
Yes, we have had a conversation with him. I think the remarks need to be seen in their context. He's apologised for them. It was 16 years ago. When people are young and irresponsible, they're young and irresponsible. He's acknowledged that. He realises he's now a member of parliament, and he now has to abide by the rules of the caucus.
So no plans to get rid of him?
Well, we'll have to see what the party processes are going forward. I'm not familiar with those.
You know what? For me personally, that answer from John Steenhuisen was weak. That was a weak answer. He might as well just tell us that, oh, you know what? It was 16 years ago, so who cares? He made that video 16 years ago, so South Africans need to get over it. You know what? Let's put the DA aside. Let's get someone else's view on this whole thing.
This country has been soft on racists for a very long time. It's crazy that black people must be subjected to this level of hatred 30 years into our democracy, when they were subjects of legislated racism and hatred for decades and decades of apartheid. So shame on Ronaldo Hos. He has never shown genuine remorse. In fact, his first statement after the first videos emerged, he said in the last paragraph, and I quote here, please drink a Panado for the chest pains if a video of 16 years ago offended you, end quote. That's what he said. He has since deleted that post because I think he saw that it revealed his true character and intentions. He followed up this deleted post with an apology, which the DA then accepted. Now, as much as the DA has done the right thing by suspending him and subjecting him to a disciplinary hearing, I believe the DA should have been bold enough to expel him.
Now let's move away from Ronaldo Hos for a moment. There is another MP, still of the Democratic Alliance, who is also accused of doing blackface. Now, we know that blackface is showing insensitivity towards Black people. Now, this is something that's very worldwide known. Like whether you go to the States, blackface is offensive. Whether you come to Africa, blackface is offensive. And still, the MP of the Democratic Alliance went ahead. And probably this is also going to be said, oh no, it was many, many years ago. So I guess because it was many years ago, we need to shift all these things aside. Okay, with Cameron, I don't have any video footage for you, but I've definitely got something for you to read. Take a look at this. Now I'll read only the second paragraph, which says, shortly after the party suspended Ronaldo Hos over racist comments, another MP, Ian Cameron, faces criticism after a video from 2012 emerged showing him in blackface. So this is the guy of the moment, Mr. Ian Cameron from the Democratic Alliance. He is the guy that is responsible for having done blackface in that 2012. And what surprises me with both this guy and Ronaldo Hos is that these two white men are fairly young. They are not really people who you would expect racism or racial remarks from, but here it is. It's happening, and where does this all come from? The National Party is a political party in South Africa that ruled during racism. Now, if you remember, the first time that South Africa had a government of national unity was in 1994, when President Nelson Mandela was elected in to be president. Now, in 1994, when the African National Congress was elected to be the political party that ruled South Africa, there were lots of differences, a lot of hatred, a lot of injustices, a lot of things that angered people, a lot of wars, even between the Zulus and the Xhosas, the IFP and the ANC. Like South Africa, things were not going well. There was a lot happening in the country at that moment. And that's why it was chosen that South Africa would then be ruled in the government of national unity, which included the African National Congress, the party that had won the elections, the Inkatha Freedom Party, as well as the National Party. So in other words, the National Party would sort of, kind of introduce new things, introduce a new way of living to its members, because it would be a bit difficult to transition if now the National Party, the people who are living the soft life, are now being dictated as to what is going to happen by a black man, Nelson Mandela, although he had won the elections. So they brought in the National Party to try and convince and introduce the new South African structure to its members. And then there was that, there was some sort of discomfort between the ANC and the IFP as well. Discomfort, if you go into the history, you will see again who caused that discomfort between the ANC and the IFP. So they came in, as well as the two other political parties, to ease the tension with its own people so that South Africa could then move forward. So that was the very first time the GNU was introduced into South Africa, since we've now gone into another GNU now in year 2024. All right, now let's keep our minds on that. The people that you've just seen in that video, which are a majority of the white South Africans. Now, I'm not saying all white South Africans supported racism. No. I'm not saying that at all. We know that in the African National Congress, there were some South Africans that in other political parties, in fact, like there's no ways on Mother Earth that all white South Africans, but a majority of white South Africans were under the National Party and supported the National Party for their comfort, because they were getting all benefits. Every single thing that glittered, every single thing that was gold belonged to the whites in South Africa. All right. Now, after 1994, the National Party changed its name to the New National Party. And then we also had the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party was managed and it was run by Mr. Tony Leon. And, as years went by, with all the changes in the political party, then came the birth of the Democratic Alliance. Now, we can hear from the word alliance, which it's not one party, it's a couple of parties that merged together. Now, in all those parties that have merged together, forming the Democratic Alliance, Mr. Tony Leon's party, the Democratic Party, merged into the Democratic Alliance, into what is known as the Democratic Alliance. And the New National Party members also merged into the Democratic Alliance. Yabo? So now, the reason that I ask, are we pretending to be shocked? Are we really shocked? Or what is our stand? Because if you have people from the National Party, people who are superior, people who see themselves, they still see themselves as superior, of course. Now listen, when I check Hos's age and when I check Cameron's age, you would wonder, where did you meet this? These people have parents. These people have a society around them. These people hear things about, like their environment. It shows very well that, these people from the National Party didn't just disappear. They didn't all die. Whenever the elections are coming up, we are always told, oh, please hide your parents' IDs. We don't want the ANC, the African National Congress, to win this particular vote, because people know that a majority of the older generation, majority of the pensioners, if I were to say, are ANC supporters. They've been ANC supporters. They are the old school that lived way back then when racism was still very rife, when racism was a lifestyle in South Africa. So that's why we're told. And now, the same applies. As us black people are being told, oh my goodness, hide your parents' IDs so they don't vote for the ANC again. The same, that generation, those pensioners, also in the white group, they still got those pensioners. Those pensioners still exist. They're still telling their stories. They're still wishing or still fantasizing about the life that they used to live. So why do we expect that now in the Democratic Alliance there are no racists? That's the part that I don't get. And you know what? I just feel like I don't understand why we are shocked or why we feel like something doesn't make sense. Why is the Democratic Alliance? Because if something is in your heart, it's only a matter of time before it comes out your mouth. Racism isn't something that you can smack a person over. That stop being racist, and then you expect that in 2-3 months, okay, they're no longer racist. Racism it's like anger. If a person is angry, they'll go through their counselings, they'll go through whatever they need to go through, anger management, whatever. But it is something in their heart. So I have a lot of mixed feelings, I guess. I don't know if it's mixed feelings or whatever it is when it comes to the Democratic Alliance. And, it's very sad that I'm judging, or I seem to be judging, a whole political party based on 2 people. And believe me, if I were to go into further investigation, I would find way, way, way more Democratic Alliance people that have a race issue. Donna, thanks you very much for taking the time to listen to my video. Please do comment, do let me know your opinion. And honestly, if your opinion differs to mine, I'm always ready to learn from other people, to, hear other people's opinions. It takes nothing away from my skin. It doesn't change the color of anything on me. And, that's how I educate myself. That's how I learn more when it comes to politics and when it comes to the people that we live with in this world. All right, Donna, happy Sunday to you. Do take care of yourself. Take care of your family as well. And try to stay away from trouble. Bye for now.